Hello, today we are going to be working one side of the heel turn in a toe up, heel flap, and gusset sock, paying close attention to how we both work and pick up the wrap and turn. So, the first thing I am going to do is knit myself halfway across the row. Now, if I am working the left side of the heel turn, so the knit side, I am going to slip one stitch, slip two stitches, and then I am going to knit them together. Now, I will knit one stitch, and now we are coming to the wrap and turn. So what I do is I bring the yarn to the front, slip that next unworked stitch onto the right needle, bring the yarn around to the back. Thus you are wrapping that yarn around that unworked stitch. Now we are going to slip that unworked and wrapped stitch back onto the left needle. Now we are going to turn and work our way back. I will be right back. All right, I have worked my way purling across the back, turn and knit across the front until I get to that wrapped stitch, so I can show you how to resolve that wrap. So what I do is I slip that unworked wrapped stitch from the left needle onto the right, and then I take my left needle, pick up that wrap that we created last time we were knitting, right before we turned. And I have it on the left needle. I'm going to take the left needle and pick back up that unworked stitch off of the right needle and onto the left needle. So on the left needle, you're going to have the unworked stitch, which you wrapped, and the wrap, which you have picked up and have on the needle. Now, we are simply going to knit those two together. Let me work to the end and I will show you. Show you what that's going to look like. So you can see here my slip slip knit. So that's the stitch, is the slip slip knit. This stitch is knit one, and then this stitch is the wrapped stitch, which we just picked up and knit together with the stitch. You see how kind of seamless that is? You barely can see that down in there. So that is how you are going to work the knit side of a wrap and turn for the heel turn. One moment and I will show you how to work that on a purl row. All right, I have worked myself about halfway across the row of the purl round so I can show you how we are going to work the heel turn on the purl side. So the first thing we are going to do is simply stick the right hand needle through two stitches, through the front leg of two stitches, and purl them together. Next, we are going to purl one stitch, and now we are going to do the wrap and turn. So for purl rounds, I bring the yarn to the back of the work, slip the next stitch, which is unworked, onto the right needle, slip the yarn back to the front, and then I'm going to slip that unworked stitch that we just slipped the yarn around back onto the left needle. Now we are ready to wrap or to turn and knit. One moment and I will be back to show you how we are going to resolve that purl wrap and turn. All right, I am back to resolve the purl wrap and turn. If you look at the work as you're knitting, you can kind of see how that stitch, in this case it is the third from the left, is the stitch which I have wrapped. And because it has been wrapped, it kind of pulls slightly in. So instead of your stitches being incredibly even on the needle, you seem to have a little extra room here, as well as I usually pay attention to right down here where you can see that it is pulled a little bit right here. And that is the wrap around the stitch that is pulling it in towards the work where you have been working it. All right, now we are ready to resolve that purl wrap. First I'm going to do is slip that wrapped stitch onto the right needle. Next, I am going to pick up, now you can see two strands here. This bottom one is the purl bump from the previous round that the stitch was worked. On top of that, and you can kind of see if you stretch it out, is the wrapped yarn. You can see how it wraps around that stitch and comes over and into this one. So you can see, yeah, there you go. You can really see how it kind of hangs, it wraps around and hangs onto this stitch. So all we are going to do is insert our left needle into that wrap, bring it up onto the needle just like we did with the knits, put our left-handed needle through both stitches through the back and wrap the yarn and purl. Let me get to the end here. We can have a look. So here you can see there is my knit two together, and right in here, yeah, there is where I wrapped and turned and then resolved that wrapped stitch, knitting it together with the stitch. And then over here we can see our purl two together. This would be our knit one, and right here you can see that wrapped stitch. It sticks out a little more from the purl round, but it does look clean and finished. So that is how to work the two sides of the heel turn as well as the wrapped stitch, both in the knit and the purl. Hopefully this can help you with a more seamless knitting experience. Thank you. Bye.